What is up, you guys? We are out for day 2 of red snapper season, and I got a surprise for you. I am absolutely stoked because we did well yesterday. If you haven't seen that video, check it out. I'll leave it in leave it up in the corner or whatever. But today is a different day because we got a new member to the crew. We got Ben. You want this? Yeah. Hostile! He's been in a couple of other videos. We've been out on his little skiff, but guys, I'm going to get a red snapper with the homemade Hawaiian sling. And I'll walk you guys through this. I'll do voiceovers so I can talk to you about what's going on underwater, because the water does get a little dirty, especially down deep, so the fish have to be really close. And I was thinking yesterday, I'm gonna lace one of these things with my Hawaiian sling and I'm gonna get towed around. I'm gonna put that reel to the test because I'm going for 20+ pound reds only. I'm gonna be very selective because that's what we do when we spearfish. Do not go anywhere. I will see you guys down below. All right, you guys, like usual, go ahead and make this drop with me. Hold your breath. I got the timer rolling. And Ben and I kind of do a double drop. So this area we're at, we're in over 100 feet, and we're hoping to bring the snapper up from the bottom. Now, we're not using flashers like we normally do, but we are using chunks of some chum, little pilchards. And I'm kind of laying back. I see a red snapper come up, and I let Ben take the shot. He's using the spear gun, so he has a lot better range. That snapper was a little hesitant. It wasn't coming in full speed like normally, but I know Ben hasn't shot a snapper yet, and we shot some yesterday, so I was kind of playing buddy diver. Went over, grabbed his line to help him horse it up and allow him to get to the surface. But pretty stoked for his fish, but I'm definitely out to get one with the Hawaiian sling. So that is a huge challenge that I've set forth for myself. And hopefully I get it done this trip, but we'll have to wait and see.
I got one.
So now sometimes when people are at the surface, they'll go ahead and see that this fish is okay and just kind of ditch the diver and try to dive on their own. But I always say it's a really good job or it's a really good idea to help your buddy diver out any way you possibly can. Grab a hold of the fish, give him your knife, just help him out, be there just in case they need any backup.
There's a money spot loaded. Yeah. I was waiting for one to get in sling range. I think so, yeah. Okay. Hey, let's hey, Ben, let's save it and gut them when we reset. Hey, did you mark that spot? You know where? Well, just you got the tracks.
Next to the boat that you're right next to.
So now I'll go ahead and do a breathe up. This is probably like my second or third dive. We haven't been seeing a whole lot, and normally I don't dive until I start seeing some fish come up, whether it's runners or red snapper. So I went ahead and just we dropped some chum, just a little handful of it, and I waited it for it to get really, really deep. And I think this chum gets down to about 70 feet, and I try to time it to where I'll meet up with the chum when it hits this milky thermocline and the snapper come up and eat it. And it's kind of a small window you have because you don't want to wait too long, because then they go through and pick through all the chum, and by the time you get down there, there's no chum or fish, or you get down there too early and the fish don't come up. But I timed it perfectly on this drop. I shot out at the fish, and something happened with my sling. I'm trying to figure it out. I realize, okay, this fish is too big, it's too lively. I need to hook up my belt reel and just let my sling go. But the fish pulled out right before I could have done that, and I'm kind of checking out my equipment right now, and I'll assess it at the surface, but you'll see what went wrong, and this happens from time to time. I was really bummed, and this kind of stuck with me and made me a little upset for the next couple hours.
Look at this.
Big shark.
Look at this.
What happened? Gotta take him?
Look.
All good?
Yeah.
They waited after.
Came right. Yeah. Once you came up, that's when it.
They followed
You have to
you?
go into the thermocline at 70 feet.
Yeah, I was in only 5. Goddamn. That shark's even hot, dude. I saw him when I started to head up, but he was chilling. I guess when I started coming up, I was looking at him as soon as you took off.
So after making a couple of more drops at that location, we decided to go in a little shallower, and I'm mostly really bummed about that fish because I wounded a fish senselessly, which is not ideal, and it always bugs me. But Spencer ended up getting a really nice snapper once we went shallow, and it ends up getting real good here in a minute.
Looks like that was the one we were looking for.
Like 15 pounds.
That looks like the one we were looking for. Oh, what a slob. Look at how fat that thing is.
I know, I think it's a female.
Hey, what's the custom on this?
Oh yeah.
It's a beauty.
It's a fat fillet as that one.
Yeah.
So here goes kind of a longer dive. You guys can hold your breath with me. I love doing these timers, let you guys kind of practice at home. And it's definitely different as those of you may already know. It's definitely different out there on the water, holding your breath in the, having the pressure of getting a fish, having the pressure of getting down, clearing your ears, making sure you're hunting. So the difference of just sitting at home, doing breathe ups and holding your breath as opposed to kicking and exerting yourself physically, it's definitely a big difference. But any kind of practice helps. Big thing I say is just get comfortable in the water. A lot of people ask about how to dive better, and my opinion is just get really comfortable in the water, because just the littlest thing could throw you off to where you're not diving at your max in capability. But you can see me making this drop. That right there is just some chum from I think Spencer's red that he just shot. But you see all these snook, and I'm really hoping a red would pop up or something would pop up in the area, but unfortunately nothing does. But you can see all these snook, and that's a really cool dive. And if you don't know, snook are very illegal to spear here in Florida, but also we ended up, if you haven't checked out last episode, at the end of this one, check it out. Spencer ended up spearing one accidentally, but he just clipped it a little bit of it, and we were able to successfully release it. But it was, I guess, considered bycatch. But yeah, really cool seeing the life down there, and I'm hoping still, fingers crossed, trying to get a red snapper before the day is over. So here I go, about to make another drop, and right before I do, there's kind of a telltale where we're at the area I'm diving at. So Spencer just shot a mangrove snapper, and as he's kind of bringing it up, he was dangling it down a little bit. We haven't really had any shark problems, but I start seeing some runners, some blue runners, and when you don't see a lot of runners and then you all of a sudden see a bunch of runners, that's a very good sign there's a shark nearby. And this guy came in, I gave him the poke, and normally they just dip out after you poke them, but when they kind of circle back, that means they're a little frisky, and it kind of makes you put your head on a swivel the rest of the time you're diving. And so this next dive, same thing, hold your breath with me. I'm going down. Ben kind of makes a mid-column drop. I end up going all the way to the bottom, and we're diving probably about 65 feet. Nothing too crazy, not really exerting ourselves or pushing ourselves. But I make an absolute perfect drop on this. Same thing, using the Hawaiian sling, trying to get that red snapper on the sling, or anything at this point on the sling. And when you make the drop, I'm just seeing sand, but I kind of see some fish off to the left of me. So I kind of push over, and I see that we're right on the ledge, and I'm really hoping to kind of flip over this corner and try to see like mangroves or
maybe a gag grouper or something, but there was nothing. And I was shocked because the day before, this place was absolutely loaded. And that really goes to show how unpredictable the ocean is. This same exact spot the day before was just covered with fish. And we left when there were still a ton of fish. And we were like, hey, let's just check this place out tomorrow. So we did, and lo and behold, there's hardly any fish on it. So, you know, if the getting's good, go ahead and get it while the getting's good. But like I said, on this day, it was just not as loaded as with fish as it was the day before, which is kind of insane to me.
I
don't see it. Yeah. Huh? Yeah.
Last time was swarming. Last time I do it earlier.
Yeah, I don't know. So since we realized that the ledge wasn't super loaded, we kind of just started making our way down another part of the ledge, and we didn't really care if we dropped on the ledge or not. And this proved to work because I went kind of down to the sand. Mangrove snapper came in and he turned right as I was about to shoot him through the gill plate, and he ended up skewering him like perfectly down one side of the fillet. And that's not really ideal. You don't want to do that. But when you're using the sling, once you let go, as they like turn, that happens from time to time. But there's a little trick at the end of this. I'll show you how to kind of get the spear out. And whenever I'm using this Hawaiian sling, there's not like a quick release swivel. I have to untie a little bowline knot to slide the line all the way through. So I prefer not to. So I'll show you the way I do it. It just kind of saves a step. Got a Meg. So as you can see, the spear is going to be a little difficult to get through. You can see if you try to pull it out, the barb will catch like that. But if you hold the barb, just get it inside of the shot, start to turn it back and forth and wiggle it out, it just slides right out. But make sure you drain the fish before you do this.
Dude, you got the rare
It's a PB.
dude, the striped red snapper.
Hey, save those jaws. Deep the red. Hey, you should just jaws that. Cool again.
Yeah, that would be cool. Yeah. There was a shark that was after it, and I shot my gun at it.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, he was coming in to take a bite, and I shot at the shark, and he darted. It was like the reef, the one that was been hanging out.
Here we go. Last dive. Hold your breath with me, and let's see if we can't get a red snapper down here at the bottom, especially now that we kind of have the idea of where the snapper are, going down in the sand, kind of off the spot, and just chilling down there, hoping that something comes in. And now, this is usually a great technique, going down to the bottom, and the sign right there that there's some spadefish is a very good sign, so I'm really hopeful that I get to the bottom, something's going to show up, so I'm hoping to make this a really good dive, get all the way down, hoping to see sand eventually. All I'm seeing is nasty thermocline, but there it opens up just a little bit, and now I see the sand. So I go down, level out with the bottom. I'm going to be very selective, no mangroves, going for a red snapper. Even if I have to lunge out at him, I'm going to try to close the gap and get a shot with the Hawaiian sling. If I went out with the sling yesterday, it would have been just madness, and I would have shot in a big one. But unfortunately, they're not around really this second day. But I'm kind of just chilling at the bottom, keeping my eyes peeled, hoping for a silhouette of one. And sure enough, I think that was one. No, that wasn't one. Oh yeah, that was one. It wasn't huge, but I kind of did the lunge, took the shot. It was a little low, so I didn't want to put a ton of pressure. And I haven't seen any sharks at this new area we've been in, so I'm not dying to rip him up to the surface. I definitely don't want to have happen I don't want to have happen to this one what happened to the other one. So I kind of just pull him up gently. I'm not really yanking him with my arms. I'm kind of just using my fins. If he pulls at me, I just let a little bit of line out, which is the advantage of having this sling. But I get to the surface pretty stoked that I finally get a red on Hawaiian sling, and it is my first.
go. Red snapper on sling. It's not a huge one, but it's one that gave me a shot, and dude, that thing will eat great. Whole cooker, baby. This is epic on the homemade sling. That was a cool drop. Whew. Very nice fish. Whew.
You guys, I'm back at my house. I'm making myself some fresh shrimp from my buddies down in the Keys. Thank you guys for joining me on this one. Next episode is going to be absolutely wild. I dive with a super famous YouTube down in the Keys. So keep a lookout for that video. And if you enjoyed this one, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't seen any of my other stuff, feel free to click up here in the corner, one of my other videos. And if you haven't already, do me a favor, subscribe to the channel. It's free. I bring you content every week and I love doing it. Thank you for joining me on this adventure. I'll see you next week. Later.